We are about 10 days out from vets reporting to training camp, Leroy, and the very exciting upcoming year, hopefully, for the Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
Still, of course, the biggest story remains Tua Tagovailoa and his contract extension. Do you feel like, I'm curious about this, Leroy, give me the percentage that you have that Tua Tagovailoa would actually hold out if he doesn't have his contract?
10%.
10%.
Yeah. Here.
Here's
what I learned a long time ago in life. No matter what, you have to be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is further expose the others. You see what I'm saying? So, for example, Christian Wilkins, the whole time that was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I love playing football. I'm going to play football. I'm not going to miss any football.
Right.
Right. And in the end, we all looked at the Dolphins and like, why didn't you take care of him sooner?
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So,
but that being said, didn't get his contract. Even if he did that,
he got paid.
He didn't get it from the Dolphins, and
right.
And so him coming in and doing the quote unquote hold in where he's there but doesn't do drills, didn't really pan out for him getting the deal
where
he originally wanted the deal. What?
Listen, here, let me explain something to you. This is how this works. All you can do is put yourself in a position to get the contract. If the team that you're playing for has determined that you ain't worth it and you get it somewhere else, so be it. That ain't on you. But Chris Wilkins wanted to be here. The Dolphins chose not to pay him. That's not on Christian Wilkins.
I'm not saying it is on Christian Wilkins.
Why are you saying?
Because his holding pressure for getting a deal with the Dolphins or going to camp
and not doing drills.
I understand, but that's my point. Is
you got to live with that.
I understand. I don't think you're really understanding what my point is.
No, I don't.
Okay. He goes to camp, right?
Right.
But his move was, I'm going to do a week of drills, and then I'm not going to do anything till the regular season starts.
Okay.
So it doesn't really publicly put any pressure on the Dolphins to get a deal done.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Because here's the problem. Christian Wilkins had a hard time not being who he was.
Correct. So what I'm asking,
they're going to take advantage of that.
So do you think there's any shot Tua, who has a lot of that same quality, loves football, doesn't like to rock the boat,
right?
But nice guys finish last. Is there any shot make the Dolphins for a week, have Skylar Thompson run camp?
No.
And have Mike White run camp?
No.
And that will actually put some pressure to get a deal done.
Because you're living in a different world. And here's why. Okay? No matter what in life, you got to be who you are. And the hell with the other people. So I can live with, listen, Christian Wilkins can live with what he did. Because he did right by him. Mm-hmm. That's all that matters. Tua is going to make that same decision. Okay? That, listen, I've preached and I've told everybody what kind of person I am. I'm going to be consistent with who I am. If they don't choose to pay me, that's on them. And you live with it. And maybe you don't get as much money as you want. But it's amazing to me how people will, if a player decides to hold out, say he's not a team player, but if a team doesn't want to pay the player his market value, then they're just being smart. And
I'm not disagreeing with that point for you and the perception of that, but isn't the point for Tua, like if the point is to get a deal done and the deal's not done in 10 days.
Yep.
Isn't the fastest way to get it done to really rock the boat?
No,
like to really do something like because being yourself, it's really not gonna once you get to camp and if he's there, that's really it's kind of the last bullet in his chamber for this contract negotiation.
Here's what I would say about how this is working. Okay. And I'm going to use Christian Wilkins again, right? They have determined under no circumstances were they giving Christian Wilkins $20 million a year. Okay. And they stood on that hill and they never left. Right. they could be feeling the same way about Tua. Now, I will say this, is that all this could have been avoided if you would have took care of him sooner.
Of course. But
and
don't you
here,
think, but wouldn't it have been different for Christian? And I know, good for him. He stayed true to himself. But would it have been different if he didn't show up?
no, I don't think so. I think the way Dolphins management has done it, we ain't paying this much, and they haven't budged.
Okay, but the last guy to really do it and did make it ugly was Xavier Howard, because he blasted them on social media, and what do you know? A week later, he has a new contract.
But and guess what? And I will say this, and I've said this before to you. Everybody wants a company guy, but the company guy doesn't get rewarded. Basically, what they want a company guy for is to shut up.
Right. So I'm asking for Tua's sake.
That's not Tua.
I understand it's out of character. But doesn't that rock the boat more if you're him? I'm talking about this from a perspective of him getting the deal done. You don't think they're. Let me ask you this: do you feel like him not showing up, if you were to do it, which I agree with you, it's unlikely. I say it's out of his character. I know all of this. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like if he did not show up, okay, if he didn't show up, you don't feel like it boosts urgency and a percentage more on the Dolphins' part to get something done? You think that they just say, "Oh, F it, we'll make him look bad"?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
Because see, and here's where you have to go. You have to think of this. They're gonna wait, because they're gonna say, we can fine him $5 million. Right? It could go up to $5 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And or we can do this. But in the meantime, while all this is going on, Tua isn't getting an opportunity to earn more money. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you can say, I'm going to get taken care of by the Dolphins or nobody else. If you take that stand, then you can hold out, because the $5 million won't matter. Right? But in the mind of Christian Wilkins, what I think they did was they worked out a deal where they said, we're not going to franchise you.
Yeah. But I also, respectfully, in camp, isn't there a little bit of a difference to Christian Wilkins, who, you can plug him in on the defensive line?
Tua's more important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just to run the business of your camp, and you have an offensive coach. Doesn't that rock the boat more than a Christian Wilkins?
Which brings me to my point. If it was so important, then why are we waiting until the last 10 days to take care of Tua? So see, why are you sitting here and you're making valid points about, hey, do they not understand how important this is to get this thing going? Right? Clearly they don't care.
Wow, you just said Tobin made valid points.
Yeah, he did about like, look, Tua's not Christian Wilkins. Because you might be able to get by without Christian Wilkins, which I don't think they can, but that we'll find out.
Dude,
okay, Tua is not he's not the quarterback. The quarterback is the engine that runs the team.
Look, Leroy's so spot on. He's not going to do it because he has respect for Mike McDaniel. And he is always held himself.
Shouldn't he though? Because
I feel if I'm his agent, I'm definitely like, hey man.
Really
but his agent might be here. His agent could very well be suggesting that, and Tua may say, "No, I'm not doing it."
But then here's the thing, though. If he doesn't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're still going, you don't get anything done before the season begins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Aren't you making him look like, wouldn't the organization really make Tua look like the guy? Because if he's willing to play without getting paid and he balls out, the fan base is going to say, you got to pay that man.
But here's the deal. Here's what has happened in these last 2 seasons. First of all, I think they waited too long, Christian Wilkins and Tua. So let's start there.
Don't you learn from your mistake with Christian.
Okay, that's my whole point. But they're gonna do it again. And what's gonna happen is is Tua's contract is going to be so ridiculously large, right, that we're going to look at management and say, why didn't you take care of this last year?
Sure.
Because you could have saved $5-10 million a year to go get other players.
And here's the other thing, guys. If they franchise him, he's going to make $53 million that year as a franchise
But
quarterback.
here's the kicker behind that.
But here's the kicker.
Vlad.
He's going to be able to make more.
Vlad, here's the reason why you don't want to have to do that. Okay? Because I can give him an average of $55 million, but not count $53 million against my cap. Okay? If you franchise him, that's $53 million off the cap.
Yeah, you got to pay that.
You got to pay that. So while everybody's sitting around waiting and thinking, oh, we can just franchise him, if you franchise him, it's going to handcuff you more than if you give him $55 million a year.
I will say, I don't think that he'll do it, but I was surprised with how publicly disappointed he was and voicing those concerns, because that's not like him.
And he was even nice when he was voicing his concerns. So, like,
the market is the market.
Here's
But
what I hate.
That's the line, though.
And
That's the line.
Here's what I hate about this. Here's what I hate about this. Okay? Is because you are now taking a player, a company man, and running over him. Because you know he's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And it's
taking advantage
and
of
so
his
when we see a player act a damn fool for his money, that's why I don't get mad. Because they see the other side of this. They see the guys being company guys. They see the Dak Prescotts and the Tuas, right? They see all those guys. And guess what? And the team just goes about and says whatever the hell they want to say with nobody snapping back at them, right? Because they're all good dudes and they're towing the company line, because that's what you want your quarterback to do. But then you don't take care of them. So under no circumstances is this ever going to be on tour. Never. It's never going to be on tour. Because all you ingrates out there who think that Tua's not worth it, who else you going to put there?
And that's the key question.
Right. I'm acting like there's a boatload of quarterbacks out there who could do what Tua does.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm his agent, I'm like, look, I know you like Mike McDaniel. I know you want to be that, but just hey, I talked to Tua and I say, and he goes, hey, agent. He goes, hey, Tua. He goes, ready for camp? He goes, yeah. How's the deal coming along? Pretty slow. How about this? Why don't we give him a week of Mike White?
No.
That's exactly it.
Give him a week of
Mikey Blanco.
Just a week of Mike White.
Mikey Blanco, baby.
He goes, come on. Mike McDaniel believed in me. He goes, does he? He goes, he did. He turned my career around. He goes, hey, I'm trying to make sure your career is set.
But here's a question I have for you guys.
You give him a week of Mike White.
Dolphins need Tua.
Tua don't need.
But what other teams are really wanting Tua? That would be another. If he does ever hit the free agent market,
where would he go?
Yeah, which teams are going to be going after him? I don't want to say it's similar to another team down here, but you might have a Tyler Hero situation with Tua.
I guess it depends how he plays this year, right?
Right. But here's the thing. Cap for Life hit me with Kirk Cousins got tagged twice, Leroy. Is he still stuck in Minnesota? But here's the kicker. First of all,
he got tagged by Washington.
I put the Miami Dolphins in a higher class of organization than the Washington Redskins. So let's start there. Okay? The other thing is Kirk Cousins has made more guaranteed money than anybody in football.
He's good.
Right.
Not
and everybody for the last 3 or 4 years have been saying Kirk Cousins. Why is everybody paying? And everybody knocking down the door for Kirk Cousins. You think they're not going to do that for Tua?